Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about making friends in America, and Mushroom and I are a little bit different, so hopefully you can get a feeling about how it works for people who are from America and people who aren't. We're going to answer 5 questions, Mushroom and I, about making friends in America. Question number 1 is, how did you meet most of your friends? Mushroom, do you want to answer this one first?
Yeah, my friends is mostly from my work, but they're really, really good friends.
But you know what, though? Some people say, yeah, I have colleagues at work. I have people I work with, but I have no idea how to make friends with them. They're my coworkers, but we're not friends. Some people struggle, I think, to make friends with people at work, even though that is, by the way, a really good way to make friends. Obviously, when you work with people, you have the chance to spend more time with them. It's a great way to make friends, but how do you...
I mean, some people, they are my coworkers, they are definitely not my friends, but some of them, I identify them, they are my friends.
Let's say you work in a company, you want to make friends. How do you do that? How do you begin to make friends with people?
Well, I have my standards to make friends, you know, not everyone can be a really good friend, and we have some same interests. Something like that would be my friend, is like, you know, that's a good starting.
The good start to a relationship is things in common, right?
Yeah.
Joking around at work. So
that's my responsibility.
Right. So I would agree with you. I think some people are so serious all the time and afraid of what other people think. So my advice, if you have a job, don't be too afraid of, oh, maybe they think if I say that, that'll be weird. If you feel nervous about breaking some cultural rules or offending people, it will be harder for you to make friends. But if you're kind of relaxed and you just be yourself and you show people who you really are, and if you have a chance to be funny and goofy, then do that. Maybe not in a meeting or something where it's not appropriate, but if you have a chance to show who you really are, then you're going to find the right people to be friends with. But if you're always very careful, better not say that.
Did I say something? Yeah. They will feel angry about me.
Never think, what do they want me to be like? That's a terrible idea. Question 2, what's your advice to someone who wants to make friends in America? We talked about if you want to make friends, you should be yourself, as you said, and also find things in common with others. But what would be some other advice you'd give to people who want to, when they get to America, whether they're working or traveling or whatever, they want to make friends? I would say, for this one, try not to force things to happen. One of the big mistakes that I have seen people make is they want to focus on the status of friendship first. That's the most important thing. If someone sends me a message and says, "Can we be friends?" We definitely can. That's not the way to begin a friendship. You don't have to stamp something as friendship right from the beginning. It doesn't work like that. If you're friends with somebody, you know it. If you look inside, you know you're friends. The point is, build a relationship, right? So if you find someone who you share interests with, maybe it's movies or whatever, focus on getting to know that person better and talking about things, having an interesting conversation. Then 3 years later, you go, oh yeah, I guess we're really good friends. It just happens. Don't focus on what is friendship and announcing it to everybody. People don't say that kind of thing to each other. So then how do you get it started without being weird?
Just be natural. Don't make a question in your mind. That is, I'm going to make friends with them. I'm going to start my relationship with local people. That's my goal. That should be your goal, but it should be natural.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're really not type of people that you are really interested to be friends with.
If you really want to get to know someone, don't think about what should I say. Think about what should I ask. You should ask good questions, really interesting questions. And it can start simply, right? You can talk about whatever you have in common, whatever the situation is. But once you do that and you focus on asking questions, the other person is going to want to talk more and more, and you can get to know them.
Interesting.
And then maybe they want to ask you some questions. That's a good way to begin. What should people know about American culture or special things about friendship in America?
Like all my friends will ask me, for example, they have events going on and I got invited. They will ask, "Hey, Jing, do you have time? You know, are you interested in joining to the group and we can have a team building? We have a drink together, where we hang out for a couple hours if you are free, if you're available. That I will be happy to see you." But you are able to say no, because I say no to people. People say no to me as well. So
you don't have to do anything. And everything that you say to your friend should give the option to refuse in the way that you invite. I think one of the next questions is about how to invite, so we'll talk about that. But you should always leave room for people to say, "No, that's okay, no thanks."
don't feel
And be cool
upset.
with it,
Yeah.
right? And don't force people to do anything. Because in American culture, one of the most important things is having freedom and space, right? I was on the elevator yesterday, and there was a lady this close to me on the elevator. And she looked at me and said, "Excuse me." She just wanted me to move this far away from her because she thought I was too close. That's one thing about America that's maybe different from a lot of other countries. People want to have a little more space, and freedom is really important. I need you to know that I want the choice to say, "I can't go. I don't want to go," without having the pressure or the feeling of, if I say no, what will you think? We don't like that in America. That's something between friends that we don't want to have. It causes a lot of discomfort.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about how to invite and the ways that we can actually say that if we want to invite somebody to do something. We'll talk about that in a minute. How do I get a conversation started? How do you begin the conversation? How do you know what to talk about? What do you do?
First, just introduce your name, and you can ask people that, "Oh, where do you live?" "I live in Brooklyn." "How do you feel about Brooklyn?" Give you some information about, the environment. Generally, I will just, because I met all people, they came over, just, hey, Eric. Just a very common thing to say at the very beginning
Yeah,
when
sure.
you meet people.
But I think it depends on the situation, too.
Yeah.
That sounds like a meetup or a class, right? You're starting the first day of a class, or you're going to an event or a meetup. The first thing you say is, "Hi, I'm Luke," or "Hi, Eric."
I'm an event lady.
Huh? I would focus on basic questions and then let the answers to those questions give you more to ask about or more to talk about, right? If you've just met somebody and maybe they're a student, you can ask them, for example, "What's your major? What's your major?" And then they'll tell you, "My major is engineering. I study engineering at university." Maybe you know something about the university. Ask a question about that. Or maybe you want to know more about engineering. So what kind of stuff do you do as an engineering student in your second year? Are you guys building stuff or what? Or you could ask, "What year are you?" "Oh, it's my second year. I'm a sophomore." "Cool. What kind of stuff do sophomores do in engineering school? Do you guys get to actually make physical products, or do you just learn theory?" So I would ask this kind of question. You could ask about someone's job. That's a basic question. What do you do? What do you do? "Oh, I'm a paleontologist." "You're a paleontologist? So you study dinosaurs?"
What is
Yeah,
that?
that's right. It's a person who studies dinosaur bones. I mean, if I ever met a paleontologist, and I never have, but if I ever did, I would back them into a corner and ask them questions for 3 hours, and they would not be able to escape. Maybe you're traveling and you meet somebody, right? One great question you can ask is, "What interesting places would you recommend that I visit while I'm here? Your city. I'm visiting. You probably know what things there are to do. Museums, events, whatever. What interesting things are there to do? Or what would you recommend that I do while I'm here?" And then we can start talking about those things, and that might lead to more questions or a deeper conversation. So start simple. Don't try to come up with some crazy question. Start very simple and then follow that. And don't ask weird questions like, "Could you please compare and contrast?" or "What are the pros and cons?" Don't ask that kind of discussion question, right? That's in a different kind of situation. How do I invite someone to do something together? I feel like you do stuff almost every day.
Oh, yeah.
You're meeting friends all the time. I almost
Not
feel like
all-
you're better for answering this question than me. So Mushroom has a lot of friends. She's always hanging out with people. It's crazy.
Sometimes, not all the time.
You're so popular.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Not that popular.
But
I
I
don't
almost
know.
never-
I just have
never go
a
out.
couple people, couple friends, and we keep in touch.
But when you're going to do something, I mean, how do you begin that conversation? You have a friend.
Hey, how are you? For example, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, how are you? And he will get back to you and say, hey, you want to have a drink? Just quick drink? You want to meet for an hour? Do you have time available? They will say yes or no. Yeah, sounds great. Let's do that. For example, tonight or tomorrow, they don't arrange that. For example, let's do that next month. I'm sorry, I'm not available. Can we reschedule? Yeah. And we just meet up.
You can also say rain check. If you have to cancel for some reason, you can't go, you plan to do something, you say rain check. Rain check. That means let's do it another time. I can't go today. Rain check. Yeah. We talked about earlier that you need to give people space to say no, right?
Yeah.
So you could say, let's go do this, but that doesn't really give people enough space to say no. People might not want to do that, but they feel like they can't say no, so they feel pressured. Generally, don't do that. If you want people to feel comfortable, one thing you can say is, I was thinking about. That's a great phrase you can use. I was thinking about going to grab some lunch. Do you want to join me? Like that's something I'm considering. If you say no or you're not interested, it doesn't matter. I may go anyway. It doesn't matter. You're welcome to join me if you like. It gives the other person the sort of freedom to say, meh, I don't really feel like it, or meh, I'm not that hungry.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, guys, so hopefully the answers to those questions are useful when you're trying to make friends, whether you're working in America or you live in America and you want to make more friends, or you're going to visit. I'd really like to hear back from you guys on this topic because I know it can be tough. If you have any other questions about making friends in America, make sure to leave a comment below. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.